Hi, I'm Sylvia from Backyard Brushes in Winona, Minnesota. I am a creative small business owner. I have a shop in downtown historic Fountain City, Wisconsin, where I sell repurposed items, my crafts, and I also hold DIY workshops. But today I would like to share with you 3 projects I completed using the materials from Sonnets Maker's Box. So please follow along, and I'd love to hear what you think. I grabbed a frame that I had thrifted, and I took out the print and cleaned the glass. I took a mixture of vinegar and water, equal parts, and sprayed the outer edges of the glass. I then used Rust-Oleum mirror effect and sprayed upon the edges. This helps get kind of a mercury effect along the edge of the glass. I painted the frame using Queen Bee by DIY. I'm now going to use DIY Dark and Decrepit and go over the yellow frame to give it kind of a dingy, rusty look. It also seals the DIY paint. I then use a baby wipe and wipe off the excessive Dark and Decrepit, and it leaves it a nice, smooth, rustic look finish. You can now see the difference between the regular yellow paint and the area that's been painted with the Dark and Decrepit. Rice Paper Peony Love by Connie, the painted photographer. I am going to trim the edges. Normally I do a wet tear, but due to the mercury glass and the painted matted paper, I was comfortable just trimming the edges with the scissors. First cut, I'm going to use liquid patina crystal to adhere the rice paper to the paper backing. I slowly work my way down with the liquid patina as to reduce the chance of wrinkles. Now it's ready to assemble the frame and picture. Did any of you guys notice my boo-boo? I didn't have it completely covered when I did some spray painting, and now my husband's upset. But you know what? He'll get over it, and it'll go away with the rain. I like the faux mercury effect, and I think it was well worth it. What do you think? For project 2, I'm using a stool I picked up at a garage sale this past summer. I'm using Rust-Oleum black paint in a matte finish to give it an even coat. I use my electric sander and I go over the edges lightly just to give it a slight distressed look. I then brought the stool inside and I painted the top of the stool in Rust-Oleum chalk paint chiffon. I then give it a quick cover of Mod Podge. I like to use the iron-on method. I tend to get less wrinkles. Of course, the amateur in me didn't tape me painting the top of the black stool, but it's the same method I use to put the Mod Podge on. And now my favorite part. I actually like using the burning method for decoupage paper. It burns off the excess paper and it doesn't burn past the decoupage medium. I also like the look that it leaves on the edges. Inside the home, you should do it outside. However, I do have water available, and my husband being officer safety, there is a fire extinguisher available if things were to get out of control. I'm using DIY liquid patina on top of the decoupage paper to not only seal the paper, but also to protect it. I actually have more of these stools in my garage, and I think I'm going to make me another one. What do you think? Leave me a comment. The hat. This is where things get kind of interesting, and you can actually learn a lot from my mistakes. I took some kitchen towels and I put them inside the hat. I was hoping to stiffen up the painting surface. However, it was still a little mushy, but I went with it. I'm now going to use Rust-Oleum chalk paint in white linen and paint the surface of the hat in the area that I want to decoupage on. And I do apologize. I tend to go off camera when I get so caught up in painting. I am still learning, and hopefully I can be more conscientious in the future. After the hat is dry, I use Deco Art fabric medium and I apply it over the paint. My first choice was the crown portion of Roycycled's decoupage paper tapestry. This is where things start to get ugly, so hopefully you can learn from my mistakes. After playing with the paper and getting it placed where I want, I covered it with the parchment paper to use my mini Cricut press to use the heat method to adhere the decoupage paper to the hat. Not adhering well, so I kept trying to play with it a little bit, and then the more I played with it, I started to get little rips in the paper. And as you can see, the paper just was not adhering well at all, and it just continued to rip. I tried to then save the paper and apply the medium directly to the paper and to the hat, and that just kind of made my situation worse. And at this point, the paper's not adhering, the paper is ripping. I'm getting a little bit on the frustrated side, so I bet you can guess what I do next. I just rip it right off. Came off fairly easily, except for the small ripped pieces that were left on the hat, but those two came off easily. I don't give up. I grab my Mod Podge fabric medium and I apply it directly over the Deco Art medium. Using the Mod Podge fabric medium, I follow the whole process all over again, and I'm sure you don't want to rewatch that, but guess what? It worked this time. Now that the paper is adhered to the hat, I grab my lighter and I go around the edges and I burn off the excess paper. I prefer the burning method to sanding. However, I wouldn't recommend doing this inside the house, even though I am. I do have water nearby just in case something were to get out of control. What's interesting with this method is how the fire stops when it hits the Mod Podge. I also like the kind of the burnt frayed edge that the burning method leaves behind. Overall, I'm pleased with the hat. I hope you learned from my mistakes. When using Deco Art fabric medium, the iron-on method does not work. So I would love to know which project you liked the best. If you could just let me know in the comments, I'd really appreciate it. And I'd also love some suggestions on what I could have used inside the hat to make it stiffer to prevent the wrinkling. So any ideas, suggestions, or comments, I would love to hear them. Otherwise, hopefully I'll catch you on the next one. Please subscribe below and follow me on my journey, and hopefully I can help inspire you.